you mad? I got a bag, bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night. Yeah. You know. I said, damn, it's gonna be a long night. Let's go.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new video. So today I'm reviewing my friend Cheyenne's 2016 Scion FRS. It is the Lunar Storm color. It's a beautiful car. I've actually drove it a couple times. It's just an awesome, fun little car to drive. And if you watch the Ford Focus review that I did a few months back, it falls into the category as one of those cars that are just super fun to drive. It's not like fast. It's not like super powerful. It makes around 200-ish crank horsepower. So, I mean, it has enough power to feel sort of zippy, but it's definitely not fast by any means. But that's okay, you know, not all cars have to be fast, and this car definitely has its place. In fact, in my opinion, it's one of the best starter cars or first car for someone who is a car enthusiast. If you give some, you know, a young person a super powerful car from the get-go, their first car, they're probably going to wreck it and tear it up. This car is underpowered enough to the point where you can't get in too much trouble with it. It is still rear-wheel drive though, so that's kind of the plus side to the FRS, is it being rear-wheel drive. So especially if it's wet, I mean, you can still have some fun with it and slide it around, but it's just a good learning car because there's tons of room for error, and you're not gonna kill yourself instantly in something like this. You still can't get in a wreck if you're new to driving or just learning or just starting out. This is really such an awesome car. So again, this car is a 2016 FRS. This particular car is basically stock. In the performance department, it's 100% stock, even down to the stock air filter. So it's unmolested, super clean car. Now, Cheyenne did just get a pair of XXR 530s put on, and they are a black chrome, and they are gorgeous. I actually saw them for the first time in person today. It really sets the car off, looks awesome. With her just getting her new wheel, she also painted her calipers teal. So obviously this car is lady driven. I think that's an awesome touch, and it goes with the Lunar Storm color of this car very well. This car, it's just a fun car to drive. The gear shifter, I love this gear shifter actually. It's like notchy, but not so notchy that you're complaining about it being notchy, if that makes any sense at all. It's, you know what gear you're in, I'll put it that way. When you throw the car in gear, it just goes into gear so easy. A smooth gear shift in a car can make or break a car, and how much fun you have driving. It really, really can. You know, again, this car isn't, you know, super powerful, but if I throw it down a couple of gears here, let's see, go down a second, at 5,000 RPMs, and we kick it. Super fun. You really don't have to have a super powerful car to have fun. I mean, a little car like this, rev mat, you can learn to rev mat. I mean, you can just have a lot of fun with it. It's a boxer engine. Subaru makes the engine. A lot of Subaru fans, and really just boxer engine fans in general, like this car because it has their pride and joy, their boxer engine that they love so much. And it's really not much different in this car. It's still got that same boxer engine feel. It's still got the low end gurgle or grunt that, if you can hear it, it's got that distinctive boxer engine sound that people have come to grow and love so much. Another cool thing about this car, there's a ton of aftermarket for the FRSs and the BRZs, and I think what is the Toyota 86 or F86. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't rake me over the coals for that. And as we take off here, nice clutch feel, very predictable. With that boxer motor, it just sounds so good. And she's got a Spec D tuning exhaust. It's kind of like the lower end version of the NVIDIA exhaust that they make for these cars. In my opinion, it sounds just as good. It's not too loud, and it's not, you know, too drawn when you're driving it. Cruising like this, if I back off the gas a little bit, going about 45, it's nice, and it's got that nice little, just deep little rumble to it. It's nothing too insane, and you definitely could take this car on a road trip. It's not the widest car in the world, but I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty comfortable car. The seats in this car are awesome. I love it's got bucket seats, and the side bolsters are fairly aggressive, but not so much that it's still not comfortable to drive around in. But it also, like going around this curve, holds you in the seat perfect, really. I'm a bigger guy as well. And oh man, and the curves is really fun. It is a beautiful day here in North Carolina, by the way. Everything just looks so nice. It's October, leaves falling. The steering feel is really good, so going around those corners back there, it's very tight and firm. It's for a little car, it's got pretty tight steering, which I like that, you know. There's more steering response, you feel more of the road when it's like that. I don't really like getting in a car that has, you know, electric power steering that's just overdone, where you just barely move the wheel and the car is turning too much. That's awesome for luxury cars, but little cars like this that are zippy and fun to just scoot around in, I like a little bit firmer steering. I had a 2006 Acura RSX Type S, and if you've ever had one of those cars, you'll know what I'm saying. Those cars have super heavy steering, which I love that, and this is really close to that. It's not quite as heavy as that car was, but it's really just about the right amount that you would want. With it being a 4-cylinder boxer engine, it's pretty good on gas. I think, let's see, Cheyenne said she gets on the highway roughly around 30, 31-ish miles to the gallon. That's pretty good. I know it's just a 4-cylinder, but I mean, it's a 4-cylinder that's got a little bit of power to it. And so, you know, 31 miles to the gallon is really good. You can take this thing on a long trip and it wouldn't cost you a ton. It's a perfect little weekend getaway car. I would love to have this car as a daily driver or a weekend getaway car. Jump in it, drive to the mountains, go to the Blue Ridge Parkway, go really anywhere. It's small enough that you're not going to have a hard time finding parking, and if you go to the city or tighter parking quarters, I guess you could say, it's really small, nimble. Nimble is probably going to be the best descriptive word I can use for this car. Nimble, quick, really confidence inspiring too. It probably makes me feel like I'm a better driver than what I really am. It's just the way that the car gives you confidence. You feel like you could send this thing into a curve going about 300. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, really, it's really good. So I'm going to gear down here. We got a tight turn coming up, and woo, yeah, this thing hugs the turns, boy. It really does. This thing is a ton of fun to drive. I'm having fun with it. It's funny driving this thing. I know it's a Scion, but if you may or may not already know this, but Toyota actually makes Scion. You can definitely tell that when you drive this. There's little things about this car that screams Toyota, which is not a bad thing. It's funny how this thing is kind of a mixture between, it's got like the heart of a Subaru, but the build and the quality of a Toyota. Even I know it's a Scion, but again, Toyota makes Scion. And you can see that carry over into this car. It's very apparent. And that is most definitely not a bad thing. I love these cars. They're super nice. The interior is really nice. You know, it's got a lot of soft touch. The dash is actually suede, which I like. I mean, this car just drives so good. The AC works great. And another cool thing I love about this car, it actually has a gear indicator, which is something that you see really more on motorcycles than cars, but I'm glad to see that they have incorporated it into this car. You can see here, I'm gonna go down to 4th, and it's got that gear indicator, 3rd, 2nd. That's really cool. I like that a lot. If we'll kind of get a first person view here, if I can. This little thing's so fun to get on. But that's exactly what I'm talking about right there, guys. 2nd gear, pinning it. I mean, the back tires are not going to spin. You're not going to get yourself in too much trouble. And really, that is a good thing, especially if you're starting out, or even if you've been driving cars for a while. I mean, this thing really is fun to drive around. I really do genuinely enjoy driving this car. This thing on a back road, it really just comes into its own. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this car for that reason. I want to talk about, would this car be worth it to purchase? And again, this kind of turns out the same way in most of these videos. It really just depends on you and what you want. If you're wanting a car to go fast, this is not your car. If you're wanting a car that's fun, peppy, good around corners, this is the one to get. From what I've seen, you can still get these cars in the mid-teens. If you can find a good, decent mileage car that's been taken care of, I would say jump on it. If you're looking for a daily commuter, but you still want to have a little bit of fun, you don't want to go and buy a Nissan Altima or something that you're going to get bored with. If you're into cars, or if you feel like you want to get into cars, this is an awesome route to start out with. You're not going to get in a ton of trouble with it. You're not going to be going 200 miles an hour with it, but it's a lot of fun to drive. It's awesome to learn the dynamics of driving a straight gear car. This is a 6-speed car. I'm sure you can already tell by the way. Sure, if you know cars, you can already tell because you saw me shifting gears, but it is a manual transmission car, which by the way is a dying breed, guys. There's not going to be too many more manual transmission cars. I think it's already down to, it's either, I think it's like 2%, it was either 2 or 7% of cars now are become manual transmission. There's only just really just a handful of cars out there that still you can buy with a manual transmission from the factory in 2020, and going into 2021 that's going to be less and less. Unfortunately, the manual transmission car is dying out, and I hate that. And the only thing I can say, if you guys are into manuals, I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but if you're into manuals and you don't want to see them disappear, stop buying automatic cars all the time. If you're buying a sports car, this is just my opinion, guys. If it comes with a manual, buy the manual. Show these manufacturers that there are still enthusiasts and people out here driving manual transmission cars that want to continue to get manual transmission cars. All right, done on that rant. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that avenue. It's not, it's not going to break the bank. It's a very affordable car to get into. Not only that, the technology is really good. This car has a nice touchscreen radio, it's factory. It's got nice Bluetooth, fast Bluetooth. It's not laggy. Works really good. Again, I don't really do exterior or technology reviews. I don't get too in depth. Really, I try to go over the driving feel and engine and driving dynamics of a car. Yeah. All right, guys, I know this was kind of a short one, but I do want to thank you for coming in and watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It helps me so much more than you know. Also, if you would, go give my friend Cheyenne a follow. I'm going to drop her Instagram handle right here. Go give her a follow. She's Lunar Storm on Instagram. Again, I'll have that right here. Guys, I hope each and every one of you has an awesome day. Can't wait to see you next video. Peace.